Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for the movie called Mary Poppins Returns. It is a 2018 film. It is rated PG. It's directed by Rob Marshall, and it stars Emily Blunt, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Ben Whishaw, Emily Mortimer, Pixie Davies. It runs 2 hours and 10 minutes. The magic returns in Disney's reimagined classic as Mary Poppins helps the Banks family remember the joy of what it's like to be a child. Together with her friend Jack, the lamplighter, fun is brought back to the streets of London in celebration that everything is possible, even the impossible. This also stars some other people I'll leave as a surprise because it likes to connect itself to the original Mary Poppins, and I just think it's wonderful and delightful. The people that are in this that are surprises, so I'm going to keep that as a surprise. And I think it really connects enough to the first one to make sense to be called Mary Poppins Returns, and and not. I'm so glad they didn't call this Mary Poppins 2 because it's not a sequel. I'll just let you know it's kind of the same story, but they have different songs, they have different characters, and they have different twist on the old version, and they kind of update their version and their take on certain scenes and certain characters. But it's sort of the same kind of thing, so you'll have a little bit of deja vu. You just will. So, my one obvious negative is that Jack the lamplighter, he's almost too much of a focus in this movie. Like, he starts us off singing a nice song. You can tell he's talented. You can tell he's a good dancer, and he is way too much of the story. Way too much. I had flashbacks to April O'Neil and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, how April was like the whole story. It was pretty close with Jack here. A lot of focus was put on him, and a lot of he was in a lot of songs just to be a part of it, and I thought that was just kind of silly. So, I mean, as good as he is, I don't think he was really a part of the original, and for him to be part of this second movie so much, I just didn't really care for it. I just, as much as nice as he was, I just didn't care for him being so much of a focal point. Um, there are going to be some people that say maybe Emily Blunt wasn't the best, but I'm going to completely disagree with those people. I think she was fantastic. I think she handled herself correctly. The only thing that small little note is her like walking past people on the street and like brushing them off or not looking at them or not saying anything to them like good evening, something. I just didn't like those little things where she would walk away from Mr. Banks in kind of rude way, or walk past somebody without saying anything to them. That kind of a rude thing. Like, her character is the emblem of not being rude, and there were a couple things here and there that Emily Blunt as a person just did, and it's obvious she didn't have any direction not to do that in a rude way, and it just came off as not Mary Poppins-ish. So I have to say that's my only real things. I liked the way they did the story. I liked the connections they made to the first one. I loved the new songs. I had enough of the cartoon stuff that they threw in. I knew there'd be some, and after they had the second dose of it, it was enough, but they didn't overkill it. So I thought that was fine, and I liked all the different characters. I thought everybody did a pretty good job, and I was kind of missing Spoonful of Sugar. I wish they would have just fit that in, somehow, some way. But yeah, otherwise the rest of the movie was great. I think Emily Blunt killed it. I think the children were fantastic. I think the story was cute, and there's a little bit of twist at the end, and it takes a little bit to figure that out, and that's good. That challenges you at the end there. So the fact that it's rated PG, there's no like bad words in it. It's totally for family. Uh, I I think it was a little bit insulting to the adult intelligence at the beginning, but the movie is such a classic as it goes. I think everybody will get something out of this. You might not get something out of the whole time, but you will get something out of the movie in general. If you like musicals, or if you like good acting, or if you like the old people that are being thrown into this, the ending is a little silly, but it's predictable and it's just enjoyable. Just you have to enjoy a movie like this. I mean, it's nice and light. They didn't destroy it like they kind of did Winnie the Pooh and some other movies that they've been remaking and redoing and all this other stuff. And it's not the exact same movie as the first one, so that's good. There's a lot to it. I mean, I think a lot of people will really dig deep and analyze this thing, and I think it was a good version of a movie that they have done again, or they have tried to redo, whatever word you want to use. I'm just so glad they didn't try and sequel it and try and do a completely different movie. It had connections to the first one, but it was its own movie. So yeah, it's I don't know how much more I can say about it. I hope that people don't rip this apart, because the cartoon parts are a little silly, and really the focal point of Jack gets, really does kind of drive you to wonder why they did things that way. Uh, and yeah, so I guess now as I'm gone talking, that I've come up with a couple other kind of not negative points, but just like little small criticisms. So I'm going to give Mary Poppins Returns an A minus. I do advise seeing it. I do advise owning it. I think it's going to be one of those movies that people do remember, and it's a classic that I thought people shouldn't touch. Mary Poppins is just one of those movies, and I would have, I would have, I would have taken a little bit more from the first one because it was such a classic. But I liked this second one, and I thought it was good. So, A minus for Mary Poppins Returns. My name's Danny. Thank you guys. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give something to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. I'm sorry for my cold, but thank you for watching and enjoy your movies. Thanks.